everyone, it's Vanessa here from Love Riley. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be making the How You Doin Bowler Bag by Sincerely Jen Patterns. I am in love with how this bag has turned out. It's amazing. I had the waterproof canvas custom printed for me. I'll leave the company that I got it through down below. So that's the front and the back panel. And I did go backwards and forwards on a few decisions, but I'm in love with what I've decided. So I did the Colourpop handles from Erica from Lavender and Twine. I'll leave the link below to where you can get that pattern and the instructions. I put strap ends on double zipper pull, and we've got the inside of the bag. So this is a bound bag. It's not bound in the pattern, but this is how I've always done it and I find easier. So all the instructions that are given in this bag, in this video, are for a bound bag. So on the inside I have my inside zipper pocket. I've just used a quilting cotton for the inside, and it's the first time that I've ever used fold over elastic as my binding. Normally I use waterproof canvas. I have made this bag with foam. And here I have a double slip pocket, or a divided slip pocket I should say, which is quite roomy, and for a smaller bag this has got a lot of room. I just love it, but I cannot keep it for myself because I just keep all the bags. So this bag is designed to either be held or worn on your arm. It's not an over the shoulder bag, but how adorable is this? So if you'd like to see how I made this, then please stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching. I will add some photos at the end of how I photographed this for my website. Okay, I'll go over the pattern pieces that I have. I have 2 exterior pieces. This is a custom waterproof canvas that I had made. I've interfaced that with a medium woven. Normally I wouldn't interface waterproof canvas, however I want this to be a sturdy bag, so that's why I've done that. So 2 of those. Then I've got 2 lining pieces. This is just a quilting cotton that I got from Spotlight. Again, medium woven on those 2. I have 2 foam pieces that are a heat adhesive foam, but I'm not going to glue mine on. It does have glue on both sides. I'm just going to base mine on because I don't want the bag to wrinkle when I turn it. So that's those. And then I have the bottom panel. I have 1 exterior and 1 lining. The exterior is a vinyl I got from Spotlight. I have sewn it before without any interfacing on it and it stretched on me. So now I've interfaced it with a medium woven and then Decaville heavy as per the pattern. And 1 lining as well, interface with medium woven. This is an alteration that I did make. So in the pattern it has an oval edges and is an oval bottom. I find it harder to sew those. I don't know why. I think it's the curve. So I've just made mine into a rectangle. Then I have my side gusset panels. I have 2 exterior vinyl, again, medium woven, and foam, which I'll base those on shortly. And then I have my 2 lining interface medium woven. These are my vinyl overlay pieces, which I've cut out of vinyl. Make sure that you mirror these, otherwise it's not going to go on your bag properly. Then I have my main exterior zipper panel, 2 pieces of foam. I did forget to interface this, so I will go back and do that shortly. So 2 of those. Then I have my lining zipper panel pieces. This is a separate piece in the pattern. 2 of those medium woven in my lining fabric. Then I have my slip pocket, 2 pieces of those lining. I have gone ahead and cut out a trim piece to go on my slip pocket. This is not part of the pattern, so I've just cut that to 1 inch wide, but I'll explain that when I get to that step. So one of those in vinyl, and I have interfaced that again because it does stretch. Then I have my zipper pocket. I did interface this. I probably shouldn't have, but I did. So that's my zipper pocket. This is a bound bag. I've never tried this before with the binding, so I've got fold over elastic, so I'm going to try that on this bag. There's still a few things that I've not decided on, which I'm not going to decide on those until it comes time to make it. But these are the vinyl connector pieces that are with the pattern. I have cut those, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use these, but I have interfaced those as with medium woven, or if I'm going to do this type of overlay with hidden strap connectors. So I'm not sure yet what one I'm going to do. I guess we'll wait and see. I have 2 connector pieces as per the pattern. I've got 4 square rings, but I also got out 4 D rings because I'm not sure yet which connectors I want to use. I have strap ends, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use those. I have 2 main zipper pulls, and I have a zipper pocket pull and a handmade tag. So I'm not sure how much of this I'll use, but I got it out just in case, and I think that's it. I may need some Chicago screws, but I can get those later. So normally when I design a bag, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I've got all the fabric choices picked out, but this bag, it seems I'm very undecided. So for the handles, I've got 2 different options. So the first one is the ColourPop strap method, but I'm going to use it as a handle. So Erica from Lavender and Twine designed the ColourPop strap. You can go to her website and get the pattern directions and instructions free. I'll link that below. I'm not going to give measurements as to the pieces. So what happens is this gets folded up to just the edge of your waterproof canvas, and then it gets folded over and sewn down there. So this is one I prepared earlier. Well, I've not sewn it, but so once it's sewn down the sides, you will just see a hint of the waterproof canvas. So that's one option. The second option for the handle that I'm going to be using is just a double-sided handle. This isn't in the pattern. What I've done is I've cut this piece to 2 inches because I want it to be 1 inch when I'm finished, so I'm just going to fold it into the middle. So that's the vinyl. So with the waterproof canvas, I've actually cut this smaller than the vinyl. I've cut this to 1 3/4 wide because I want a little bit of black to be shown on the edge. And then I've just folded that into the center and put some double-sided tape. And then that is going to look like this. So I'm just going to fold it up, but not over the waterproof canvas. Just fold it up to there. I'm just going to use some clips just to hold it in place while I do the other side. These are just hair clips that I got from Timu, I believe. Okay. And then the next. This double-sided tape is doing a pretty good job of holding. It would be doing a better job if I hadn't have interfaced the vinyl, but it'll be fine. Okay, so now that that's all lined up, then what you want to do is you want to fold it over. And I'm going to start clipping these. Now, this is quite thick. So when I sew it down, I really need to be careful that I don't run off the edge. I've never made this strap before. Oh, I keep saying strap. I've never made this handle before as a handle or a strap, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Do you think I'll use all these clips? You can never have too many, right? It's not a thing. I don't think so. The more, the better. This is going to be really thick. Excuse me, I'm trying to film a video. Can you please leave? They're possums that live in my roof, in the garage. It literally sounds like someone's stomping on the roof. Oh, and when they fight, they are so loud. The first time I heard it, I recorded it on my phone and sent it to my husband, and I'm like, what is this? This is going to be very thick, but I would not interface it and sew this on a domestic machine. No, 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 I wouldn't. Would I have tried it when I was sewing on a domestic machine? Yes. Would it have failed? Most likely yes. But that's why I now have my industrial machine. I was done fighting with domestic sewing machines. I was tired. What I'll do is I'll do the other strap as well at the same time, and then that way I can just chain stitch them. So I probably should not have put all those clips away. Oh well. Okay. So there's my line down the center. I'm just going to fold these up to the center. I don't need to leave a gap because I'm sticking the waterproof canvas over the top of this seam. Okay, you don't want to stick? Fine. Okay, so with the seam facing up, I'm going to take the waterproof canvas so that there is the join the same as here, And I'm just going to place that face down. In the center. And it's easier if you remove the tape little by little rather than all at once, because it's just going to stick to everything. Well, mine does anyway. And you want just a little bit of black on either side. Just push that down and then stick that over the top. It'll hold it down. I've got a full bobbin. I've changed my needle and I think I'll start with this one. So I'm just going to sew 1/8 of an inch, not from the black, but from the waterproof canvas. Across the bottom. And that's one done. And I'll move on to the next one. Okay, so I'm just going to continue down with this second strap, 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the waterproof canvas. Remember to back stitch. Back up the other side. And done. And what I can do is just trim off the excess that I have here. So that's both of our double-sided straps complete. The marks that were from the clips will come out when it's been sitting. It's because I left them overnight. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the ColourPop strap. This is scaring me, but so I think what I want to do with this one is just do 1/8 of an inch from the inside edge. And then I might do one on the outside edge too. I might be able to just hold it down as I'm sewing it. I'll try that. Okay. Not as bad as I thought. These marks from the clips will disappear, but that's what it looks like so far. Now we'll do the other side. Oh, that's cute. Now, do I want to do a second row? I think I do. So I think I'm just going to do a second row closest to the 1/8 of an inch from the outside edge. That's one. And two. I'm not really sure which one I'll use. I really do like the look of these though. That's pretty. It's those ones. And then these are the double-sided ones. I guess I'll just wait to make a decision when the bag's done. Okay. I might move on to the connectors. I still haven't decided which ones I'm going to use, but I've just marked a line down the center. I'm just going to fold these in into the center. And I'm just going to top stitch these. And I've just realized I needed 4 of these, not 2. So I'm going to have to make another 2. I don't know why. Oh, maybe I thought they'd be cut in half, but they're not. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to stop the video and go and make another 2, and I'll come back when that is done. Okay, so these are the connector pieces that come with the pattern. Just going to get some double-sided tape, and I'm just going to use some double-sided tape just to put under here. So I just marked a line where they intersect. is going to help make sure that I do them in the correct order. Okay, so I've got the 3 longer edges pointing up and the 2 most pointy ones down the bottom. So it says in the pattern to fold your bottom 2 ones up first. So I'm going to remove these double-sided tape. These ones up first. One. And then these ones into the middle. And then this top one down. So you want to make sure that when you turn it over, you cannot see any of your raw edges. What I will do is get another piece of double-sided tape. I'm going to just stick all these down. Get a clip as well. And then what I'm going to do is, because this is the last piece that we folded down, so that corresponds to number 1 on my connector, what I'm going to do is just flip it over. So that is my top edge here. And I'm just going to mark a tiny little dot at the top, just to show that that's my top for when it comes to going on the bag. And this is just a Uniball Sono pen in white, and it just, I got these from Officeworks, and it'll just wipe off. So then I know that's my top edge and that's my bottom. Okay, so repeat that for all connectors. Okay, I'm back. So while I've been off camera, I've interfaced my external zipper panels. I've also gone ahead and made the other strap connectors. I believe that's it. So what I'm going to do is I've got my exterior pieces here, and I'm just going to baste these on to the foam pieces. So I'm just going to line those up, and I'm going to baste these on. I'm just going to do it at 1/8 of an inch. That's that one done. And then what I will do is any bits that have excess foam hanging out the top, just like this, I'm just going to go ahead and trim that down. I would not recommend, if you're on a domestic sewing machine, I would not recommend keeping the foam in your seam allowances, but because I've got an industrial machine and it can handle it, then I'll keep it in. If you do want to keep it in your seam allowances, if you are on a domestic, what you can do is when you baste your foam on, you can go ahead and do another row of stitching to the side to try and compress it as much as possible, and you can even overlock it, which will squish that foam down and make it less bulky. So that's that one done, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat for this one. Your basting stitch does not have to be perfect as long as it's not in your seam allowance, because you'll never see it. I don't think I have much, only a tiny little bit to trim at the bottom. I'm going to need my handmade tag. I have just ordered my very first colour of personalised metal tags. I cannot wait for them to arrive. I got silver to start with, but I hope one day I can get all the colours. Okay, so your main panel. So what I want to do is, before I do the handmade tag, I want to get my vinyl overlay pieces, and I want to put these on the front, so then at least I know how far up they go for when I put the tag on. Okay, so with these, what you want to do, you want to make sure that your straight seams match up with the top and the side of your bag. I've got double-sided tape on, but you can also clip it. So I'm just going to remove this and stick it down. Now, when you stick these on, with these overlay pieces, if you didn't want these to appear to be puffy because of your foam, what you would do is you would sew these onto your front exterior piece before you add it to the foam. But adding them on now is going to give them a puffy look appearance. So I'm just going to stick those on. Now it is a curve, but what we're going to do is we're going to come in later after we've sewn these on, and we're going to trim that away. So that's one side. I love this bag and this pattern. I love all of Jenny's patterns though. They're so easy to follow, and I could just sew them all day. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the bottom. I do have my stitch length on a top stitch length. Remember to back stitch. Come up, and I am pressing down as I'm sewing that up. And now you want to come and you want to follow 1/8 of an inch from this inside edge. Sorry, I know it's black on black, but I wasn't comfortable doing white yet. You can do 2 rows of top stitching there. I might actually. Do I want to, or do I just want to do 1? I might do 2. So what I'm going to do is, I don't need to do another row of stitching on these sides because we're going to trim those down, but I am going to do a second row on this curve, and you want to do it 1/4 of an inch now away from that edge. Just go slow. Backstitch. Oh, that looks pretty. The reason that I didn't do 2 rows of stitching along the top and the side is because this is going to be your seam allowance on your side gusset, and the bottom we're going to attach the base, so you're not going to see those, but you will see these 2 rows here. Now I'm going to repeat for this side. I'm going to start 1/8 of an inch okay. Now first row done. Come in 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just following the edge of this vinyl here with the edge here to give me 1/4 of an inch. Done. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to come in and you just want to trim these corner bits here so it's a round bottom. Trim that. What you can do is you can come in and just do a little basting stitch just here, but I might just do a quick one. Just because this vinyl does stretch and I'd like to be safe. Okay, now we're going to repeat on the other panel. So as you can see, you get more of a 3D effect with the puffiness of attaching it to the foam. I also do have to apologise if you can hear a motorbike. The people across the road are out riding. They didn't get the memo, the same as the possums that I was filming a video. Speaking of possums, they're going to be awake shortly because it is the next day since I was filming last night, and they're going to wake up soon and they're going to walk across the roof to go outside, and they are going to make a huge noise. It'll sound like they're falling through my roof, but they're not. I don't know how many live there. I think it's just 2, a mum and a baby. They stare at me from the trees outside as if to mock me and go, haha, you can't do anything. We make all the noise. We don't care if you're filming a video. Okay. I must admit, top stitching is my least favourite part. It gives me the most anxiety. I think if I had a cylinder arm machine, top stitching a bag, at the very end step, depending on what pattern you make, I think it would give me less anxiety, because that is for me, the most nervous time of making a bag is the final top stitch. But since I've got my walking foot machine, I'm not as nervous about it as I was last time, but it's still one day. This just doesn't want to come off, this part. I got threads flying everywhere. I'm just going to go ahead and trim that down before I sew it. There we go. Actually, what I might do with this one is, now that I've got that stuck on there, I might just go ahead and trim this. It saves me having to baste it twice. So what I'm trying to do is, instead of putting my needle down and repositioning the panel, I'm trying with my hand to guide it in one motion. Oh, it's just decided to start raining. Okay, now what I'm going to do, so that's that. How pretty. Is pick whatever side you like. They're both the same, but we'll go with this one. And I'm going to add my handmade tag. But I think before I do that, I'm going to have to work out what connectors I'm going to use, because that will determine where I place it. Actually, they're going to go up there no matter what, so I'm just going to put it in the middle, just here. That's what I'll do. I'm just going to put it in the middle here. So I'm just going to fold this in half. I did find the center on all my pieces before I started. I didn't do a very good job with trimming that down. Okay, get a ruler. And that's my center there. And from the bottom, I'm going to go up 4 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to put it there. This pen I can remove with heat. I'm going to get my handmade tag. I want to line this up in the middle. Okay, so that should be the middle there. Then that's 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. And I said the third and the second last, so I'm going to mark those just like that. And get my X-Acto knife, and because this is waterproof canvas, sometimes I have known this to fray just a little bit, so I'm going to put this in, and the blade's facing up to the ceiling, away from me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of fray glue, fray stop, just on those marks that I made. Put my tag through. So I'm going, there they are. Oh goodness. Did you sleep well? Hello. So I'm going to turn that over, put my washer on, and then fold those down. Make sure that it's straight. And get some double-sided tape. And I'm going to get a piece that's big enough. And I'm going to put that there to avoid the prongs wearing on the inside lining and causing a hole. And then I'll go ahead and remove this mark. Now on your pattern piece, it has guides on where you're going to put your connectors. So what I want to do is I want to just mark these on both sides. Make sure the pen that you're using is heat erasable or an air erasing pen. Otherwise, you could potentially see this. We want to get our connector pieces, our square rings. So I've decided I'm going to use the square rings. 2, 3, 4. It tells you in the pattern how far down from this top edge to mark a line. So go ahead and mark that. Do it on both pieces. So I'll save the hidden strap connectors for another day. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is just pop a little bit of double-sided tape on the edge of this, bottom of these. Then what I'm going to do is get your connector, and you want to match this inside seam with the join in your connector, and I'm going to join these together, and then I'm going to get clips and more double-sided tape on the bottom. There's one. Again, match up the join with the join of your connector. You want to join those together. And double-sided tape. And you want to do that for all 4 pieces. And then what you want to do is you want to match up the side that you've got your double-sided tape on, and you want to put it on top of that line that we drew, and I'm just going to base that on, and I'm going to do it at 1/4, and then I'm going to do a second row just underneath that at 1/8. Just because I like to be extra careful. And you want to go ahead and do that for all 4. Make sure that it's on that line. And then 1/8. Okay, that's that one done. Our connector pieces. So before, when I marked the 2 dots, I know that that's my top edge, so I can just wipe those off now. Take the double-sided tape off, and then these are going to line up with the box that we drew earlier, or the markings that we drew earlier. That's going to stick like that, and we're going to top stitch around the edge. It is going to be quite thick, especially here, so you may want to change to a zipper foot on your machine, but I'm not going to, because I've never changed this foot over to a zipper foot. I'm going to start I might start over here in this corner. Now, if you were using a contrast colour thread, what you would do would pull your thread to the back so you cannot see that you've back stitched. Turn it, make sure your needle is in your fabric, and just adjust this as you need to. Okay, and I'm going to come across here. And down this side. I just want to match up with them. Okay. That's one done. Was I holding my breath that whole time? Yes, I was. And repeat on this one. Come across. What I do want to do that I didn't do before is just get a piece of vinyl or fabric just to protect the vinyl from tearing up as I come back down. Okay. Take your time. There's no hurry to trim that off. Okay, that's 2 done. And I must say, I'm loving those. You could go ahead and do another row of stitching, but no. I am going to put a rivet here, a Chicago screw here, just to secure them again. It literally sounds like someone's walking on the roof. Hi, did you sleep well? Will you be leaving soon? Because I'm kind of busy. And you're very noisy. Are you going? Hello? They don't want to talk to me today. Rude. Hi. Have a good night. I got these rivet spacing templates from Seams Legit when she was selling hardware on her website, but she's not now. But I think she still is doing templates, and she's getting a new template guy. So if they're available when I do this video, I'll leave a link. But I'm just going to line this up in the center, and I'm just going to do one there. That's where I'm going to do it. Right there. And I'm going to repeat on this side. Okay, that is complete. Okay, now I'm going to come in and punch these holes. Go all the way through. No. There we go. That's all here. Those through. So what I have is this non-slip mat. And if you just take off, if you hold this on the front and push against it while you do the screw, it's going to stop the two sides from turning, and you'll be able to get a proper grip. So then it's not loose. And then repeat on the next side. double-sided tape over the top, double-sided tape, and then that's our front panel done. Next, I want to decide, I don't need to do it yet, but I do want to decide what I'm going to do, what handles I'm going to use. So these were our options. This one and this one. Like that. So that will be the handle. Like I said, I don't have to decide yet because I don't have to attach it yet. It can be the very last step. That's that one. I don't know. I think I'm going to wait until the bag's together before I decide, I think. Yeah. Because I could also do it this way. And again, you have the black mane. I think I'm tending to go towards the black, but that's the problem. I always go with the black. And then you're going to see more of that white under the handle than you did. I mean, again, you're going to be carrying it like that, so you're not going to see a lot of it, but you're going to see more. I'll decide at the end. For now, that bit's done. Sorry, I thought the phone was recording, but it wasn't. I've got my two slip pocket pieces right sides together, and I'm just sewing that at 1/4 inch. I don't need to worry about top stitching because I am going to be adding a trim piece. So what I want to do is I want to get it right sides together, and I want to baste it together so that it's all one piece. I'm just going to baste it along the bottom first. What I will do is I am going to top stitch up the top just so that it's easier when it comes to putting that trim piece on. You're not going to see this, obviously. Now I'm going to take the trim piece. Again, this isn't in the pattern, it's just something that I've added. I've cut it to 1 inch wide. I've marked a line down the center. And then what I'm going to do is line up the top of this just under that line. You don't want to go on the line, you want to go just under so that it's got enough room to fold over so you hopefully catch both layers. So I want to stick that down, fold it over. So you can see it's just under that line, just under it. Best thing about double-sided tape is you can readjust as needed. I've obviously cut it longer. I can trim that down when I'm finished. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and top stitch this. I'm doing it 1/8 of an inch from the bottom edge. Okay, now hopefully I caught both sides. If I didn't, I can go back and add a second row, which I'm going to do at the top anyway. Trim that off. Oh, almost. Just one tiny little bit there, but that's fine. So we're going to go back in and add the other row 1/8 of an inch from the top. I just want to come back in here and just sew this bit right on that edge. So that at least it's down. This here also would have been a good place to put a woven label, but I didn't. Cut that off. Now I can go ahead and add it to my lining piece. Now I do want to find the center because I am going to sew down the middle. So I'm just going to clip this here. I have clipped the bottom, so I can go ahead and line those up just like so. Clip in place. What I also want to do is get my ruler and my chalk pen. Where are you? I think it's in my drawer. Yes. And I want to line up these center points here. Draw a line because I'm going to sew down and split this in half. And chalk will just wipe off. And you didn't see that because I was out of shot. So I've just marked a line down the center there. I can go ahead, I'm going to sew down the side, around. I want to come up, across, down and around, so a big U shape. And just keep in mind that all these layers are going to be in your seam allowance on the sides. Okay, I'm going to come across one stitch and back down. Okay, so that is my slip pocket. Get it wet. Just wipe off the chalk. So there I have my slip pocket. Now we'll move on to the zipper pocket. I have my zipper pocket, my other exterior lining piece, and my zipper pull with my pull already on. I love this. It says made with love and swear words. There have been swear words said. I've just edited them out. But that's just because my phone keeps wanting to stop recording. Okay, so what I've done is, as per the pattern, I've marked my zipper panel box. It goes up sides of my zipper pocket, match up with the top of our panel zipper, of our lining panel. Lining piece. So I'm just going to clip that in place, and then I'm going to sew around the box. Now it is up to you whether or not you come back down here or whether you just jump over to the other side. I think I'm just going to jump over to the other side. Start there in that corner. And take these clips off. Okay, that's that. Trim all this down. Now, what you do want to do, and I drew a box so I can show you, is you want to fold this in half, just like so, and you want to snip, make a snip just in there. And then you want to come out and you want to cut down this box. Now when you get to roughly half, everyone does it different, but when you get to the half inch, you want to triangle out to these corners here. Now you don't want to go all the way through your stitches, you want to go up to but not through them. So I'm just going to cut this here and change my scissors because these ones are more accurate. So now that I'm at that half inch mark, I'm just going to cut up here to my threads but not through, and then the same on this side. So I've got this triangle. Okay, now again, up to but not through your threads. I shouldn't have interfaced this piece, but I did. So okay, so we've got a triangle on either side. Then what you want to do is I come in and push this up and then push this one down, and then these go through to the back. Like so. I'm going to push all that through. The best thing about this is it is cotton, so I can go and iron it. But I just want to finger press that. And then flip this up and do the same. And then that's what you have. What I might do is just get some masking tape and just stick this here in there, and it's just going to keep it out of my way while I sew it. It will work with clips, but that is great. So just like that, then you want to get your zipper going, closing to the left, and you want to lay this. Actually, I might get some double-sided tape. Okay, get some double-sided tape, stick that just up there. It's just going to help it stay in place while you stitch it. Just like that. And then you want to do the same with the bottom. Again, stitch it, or stick it down. Okay, and then you want to lay that down. I'm just going to take off the bottom bit of the double-sided tape, and then I want to take my panel and I want to, the reason I cut mine extra is I don't have to worry about it being completely in line with these pieces here on the back, because I can just trim it down. So you want to line up your zipper in the middle. Just like that. And then when you're happy with the placement of that, just put your zipper pull in. And the best thing about double-sided tape is you can readjust it as you need to. Okay, I'm going to flip this down and take off my double-sided tape. Okay, and then I'm going to line up this top part here. Again, just readjust it as needed. Then what you want to do is sew around that. Now I'm going to sew it from here all the way down, across, and then up there, because then when I get to there I can zip my zipper all the way up and this part's already stitched. It's just easier. So you want to go back up to a decorative, come just in front of where that zipper pull is closed to, and sewing this closed. Across. And then back up this side. Okay, so now that I'm there, I can go ahead and do my zipper all the way up, and it's not going to distort my stitches or zipper. Okay, that's complete. So I can take all this off. Trim this zipper tape down because I don't need it in my side seams. I'm just going to go ahead and singe that so it doesn't. Okay, now I'm just going to bring the bottom of my zipper panel up to the top, and I do not need to keep this open because I'm binding the bag. So what I'm going to do is stitch up the sides. You can do whatever stitch, whatever seam allowance you want. But what I do want to do is when I come up to the top, I want to try and stitch these side triangles that we did in the last part. I want to stitch those down. It'll stop the zipper from pulling back through. So as I come up to the top, I'm just going to work my way in, and I'm just going to back stitch over those, come up to the top, fold the top down, stitch across, come back in, fold this out of the way, and again I want to sew down these triangles, and I'm going to back stitch over there. Now I've sewn those down, I can come back out and that's one completed zipper pocket. This is our zipper pocket. How pretty. What I want is when I look into the bag, I want my zipper to be on the back wall. So that is going to get attached to the back panel because remember I'm binding it, so I'm going to sew it as it would be in the bag. So this is what it's going to look like. My front exterior panel with my tag, my handmade tag. On the inside of the bag, I want my slip pocket. Then when you look inside the bag, I want the zip pocket on the back, and then the exterior panel. So I'm just going to baste these together. So it's one piece for when I bind it. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect as long as it's basted in the seam allowances. Zipper pull. Probably best to put your zipper pull in the middle so you've got less chance of running over it. Okay, so that is now the back of our bag and our zipper pocket. So I'm going to repeat that with the front panel. Wrong sides together. It is going to be thick just here because that's where I added on the trim. I don't like to make life easy for myself, do I? No, it would seem not. Okay. So, that's our front panel. This is our slip pocket, yes. The zipper panel. My two zipper pulls. Zipper. Foam. My two zipper panels. The side gusset panel. The first thing I want to do is baste all of the foam on before I move to the next step. So, got these here. Just basting it on at an 1/8 of an inch. Get my next piece. Okay, it's all basted on, so I'm just going to go ahead and trim down any of the foam that's hanging out. bit. Good. Okay, so zipper tape. I have cut mine longer than it says in the pattern because I like to have my zipper pulls off the edge out of my way when I sew. One side, and then come to the opposite end. And on. No bumps, all perfect. 2 zipper pulls. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move them to the end, put a clip so that they can't come off. Zipper pulls, so you want to get your zipper tape with your pulls, external zipper panel. So you want to get your zipper panel right sides up, your zipper tape with your pulls right sides down. I'm just going to move those off the edge so that they're not in my way, and I'm going to clip that. And you're going to baste that in place with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, that's that. So then, when you turn it over, that's what it's going to look like. Okay, what you want to do is you want to get your external zipper panel right sides up, zipper tape right sides down. You want your lining panel right sides down, so you're creating a zipper sandwich. You want to match up the center notches that I did earlier and clip that in place. This one I will clip all the way down just because I don't want it to shift. In the pattern, the seam allowance on this part depends on the width of the zipper tape that you use, but because I don't want to change my zipper foot to my zipper foot, I'm just going to do 1/4 of an inch. My zipper pulls are still out of the way. 1/4 of an inch. Oh, I want to change to a joining stitch length. Okay, then what I'm going to do is open these out and join them together as like so, and then I'm going to top stitch. I would recommend, if you're not going to do foam because your machine can't handle it, maybe do Decaville Light, or just do the foam out of your seam allowances. if you're on domestic. Go back up to a top stitch length. And you're just going to top stitch. I actually just thought to myself, I probably should check my bobbin, and it got me. Oh, it's okay. So I'm just going to come back a couple of stitches before my bobbin ran out. Stitch through the same holes. And then hopefully it won't be as noticeable. Because this is a bound bag, I can go ahead and seal up the top and the bottom. Oh, sorry, the sides and the bottom, because I don't need to keep them open for top stitching. Sorry, I don't need to keep them open to join all the layers together. So I'm just going to go ahead and just join these together at 1/8 of an inch. It's just easier working with one panel rather than 4 individual parts. And drop clips on the floor. Why not? So now I'm just going to go ahead and do the same. Right sides together with the zipper tape and clip that in place. Actually, I might do it this way, that way. It's just easier for me. I really like this lining fabric. Okay, basting this on. That's that. So I've got external zipper panel right side up, zipper right side down. Going to take my other lining piece right side down, and I'm going to line that up and 1/4 of an inch. What I'm going to do is just sew down so I can move the clip that's on the end, keeping the zipper pulls on. I'm just going to do a stitch backwards and forwards just over that zipper tape and then those zipper pulls will not come off. This is just excess and will be taken off in the next step. So pushing this open and your lining, we're going to match those up, clip and top stitch, and then we have a completed top zipper panel, and we've just got to do the side gusset pieces. I really do like the way that foam gives a bag structure. No, now we're going to top stitch this. An 1/8 of an inch. And bring it in. And baste the layers together. Okay, now that that's all one panel, I'm going to move the zipper pulls into the center out of my way. Then I can come and just baste over the zipper teeth, just to make sure that those pulls aren't going to come off. Same with this edge. Okay, trim that. And then I can trim down the zipper teeth, excess zipper tape now, or I can wait till the next step. What I'm going to do next is get my external gusset pieces, right sides together, and I'm going to match that up and clip this on. I might just trim that zipper tape now. And it's fine to keep a little bit of it in the seams. It's not going to hurt anything. Finish clipping that. Come to the other side. And these match up perfectly, which is what you want. Okay, I'm just going to baste these on at an 1/8 of an inch. And I just want to back stitch just over the zipper tape, and then bring this around. that's that. Then we want to get our lining pieces and match those with the lining. So we've got external and external touching, lining and lining touching. We're going to line those, match those up and clip. And this side is going to be done at our full seam allowance, which is in the pattern, which I'll link below. And we're going to sew this on. Now, just because I am cautious of seams and vinyl, etc., I am going to come back in and just do a second row of stitching next to the first one. Okay. Then I'm going to go back up to a top stitch length, open them out. As you can see, that's quite bulky, so this is why if you're using a domestic, you want to keep it out of your seams. Okay, together, clip if you need to. But it should all match up perfectly or close together. We're going to go ahead and top stitch. Because there is, oh no, it's fine. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and top stitch. I'm going to come in 1/4 of an inch from the edge, and I'm going to do a second row of top stitching so that it matches the zipper overlay. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and repeat the other side. Come back and do a second row. I'm going to open this. Clip it together. Okay, so I have my main zipper panel here. Our side gusset pieces I have not stuck together you're going to get your base piece, and we're going to attach this right sides together. Just make sure that your lining is out of the way, because I'm just going to base this on. So I'm just going to base this on with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. This time I'm going to sew all 4 pieces together. So these two we joined before. We've got our lining, side gusset, and our base lining. So I'm going to join all of those up and clip, and then this gets sewn at our full seam allowance. And I do just want to come back and just do a second row just next to the first. Then what you want to do is open these, push them back so they're right sides or wrong sides together, and then I'm going to top stitch down this part. We're going to get our other exterior side gusset piece and lining that are not attached to anything. We're going to bring our base up, keep your lining out of the way, right sides together, so that's the base and the side gusset. We're going to base that on. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to get your base piece, your lining, match that up, and then bring your base lining around so that it's right sides together with your side gusset piece, and you want to join that up so you're making like a little taco. You want to clip that, and we're going to sew that at our full seam allowance. Just do a second row next to the first. What you want to do is you want to get it and you want to turn it inside out. External piece, and you want to turn it right sides out. So it creates a big loop. Then you want to top stitch through this side. What we've got is a big circle, but our lining and our base are still separate, and so are these side seams. So what I'm going to do is come around and I'm going to clip this together so it's all one piece, and I'm going to base that in place so it's all one piece. And then that way, if you're your sides or bottom base are off at all, this is the time that you can adjust it with your lining. Now I'm just going to go ahead and baste this down. That side, and then I'm just going to repeat it on the other side. Okay, now my base is a little bit bigger than my side gussets here. So I'm just going to go ahead and just trim this down just to make it even. It's going to make it easier when it comes to putting the bag together. Just like that. Then while I'm here, and just join these two together to find the center of the base. Snip that because I'll need that. Same on the other side. Together. And one complete gusset. So now all I've got to do is add. See, now you can see how it's going to look. Now we've just got to add the front and the back panel. It's sometimes easier if you undo your zipper when you do this step. Okay. So I'm going to start with my front zipper, my front panel. So it's going to look like this. So what I want to do is I want to turn this inside out. And I want to get my front panel and place it right sides together with my exterior, lining up the center. And I'm going to clip. I'm going to do a couple of clips at the top. And then I'm going to come to the bottom and line up the centers. And I'm going to do a couple of clips there as well. So I've just clipped the top and the bottom. And I'm just going to come in and just do a row of basting stitch on the top and the bottom so that's not going to move when I try to do the rest of the bag. Okay, that's the top done. And then I'm just going to do the same at the bottom. It's just a couple of inches. There we go. Now you're going to have to get your snips. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to snip into the gusset because it's going to help me ease the bag around. So I want to make little snips. You only want to do 1/8 of an inch into your gusset. Don't want to go too far. I might try these on the scissors. Oh, that's better. I'm not sure why the other ones aren't working. They're Kai scissors and they're only brand new. Okay, and I'm going to just clip into my gusset. Like I said, don't go too far. Now what I'm going to do is clip all of these together. And throw clips in the process. Okay, I'll come back when this is all clipped. Now I've got all of that clipped. And now I'm just going to sew it on with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Oh, this is making me sweat. I'm just going to use a screwdriver in the corner to hold this and hopefully stop it from slipping. It's thick there. Okay, now I'm going to turn it out. I know there are some parts where I went from a 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch, so I will sew a second line, but what I want to do is just turn it out and see what it looks like. Make sure I've got no puckers or anything like that. Hopefully not. looking like. Love it. So here you can see I haven't caught it, so I will come back in and do a second row, but I'm happy with that to begin with. Okay. So I'm just going over the bits where I missed sewing 1/4 inch. And then what I'm going to do is I'll come back in and sew it 1/8 inch from the 1/4 inch stitch. So I can just go around again once I get back to the bottom. Okay, so now I'm back to where I started. I can come in 1/8 inch from the 1/4 inch stitch line. And I'm just going slow so that I can make sure that all these layers are out of the way when it comes time. I don't want any puckers. No puckers, please. And I'm back to the beginning, back stitch, and done. Now I want to go and check it again, make sure everything's where it's meant to be. So I just want to check all these seams just to make sure that I've got everything. This is going to look so cute. I must admit, I am glad that I am using the fold over elastic as my binding, because adding another layer of waterproof canvas is just going to make this stupid thick. Oh, look at that. That is so adorable. I want to keep this for myself, but I can't keep all the bags all the time. Okay. So that's what the inside's looking like. So Now I'm going to turn it back through and add the binding, but that's what we've got so far. Adorable. Get my fold over elastic. I just got this from eBay. I believe it's an inch wide. I wonder if putting double-sided tape on it would help. Anyway, it's good because it's got a line. When you stretch it, it's got the line down the middle, so you can see where the 1/2 inch is, or fold over. Okay, so I'm just going to start clipping. And I'm just going to pull it slightly as I go round the corners. Okay, so I've got all of that elastic on. All right, I'm just going to do it and quarter, probably a 1/4 inch from the edge. That's what I feel. Yeah. I've checked my bobbin and I'm good. This is going to be thick here because there's quite a few layers, so just go slow. Slow around the corners because you don't want any puckers. Just over here. Just a little bit. There we go. Yay! Done! One side. Now I will turn this outside again just to make sure that it looks fine and make sure that I've caught both sides, which I did. Go me. Actually, oh, just a tiny little bit here. So just that. And then turn it inside out again and see how I did. You really want to push your corners out. yes. I love this pattern. I really do. This is adorable. Look at that. Oh, if only it was finished. Okay. And then that's the inside. Must say, I'm quite impressed with that fold over elastic. Really impressed, actually. Yeah. I'm a fan. Got our slip pockets there. Now the last side, next side. I really like this lining too. Do I finish it now or yeah, okay. This side is going to be harder because we've got the bulk of the other side. So I'm just going to match up the center points on the top and bottom. Then I'll clip my gusset and work. No, that's I would have been really sad if I had have done that. Oh wow. Turn the bag inside out again. Okay. Right sides together, matching up the centers, and start clipping in place. This is going to be harder because we have the bulk of the other side fighting us, but we will and we can do this. So I'm just going to go ahead and just do a couple of clips on the bottom and then the top. And then I'm going to put those nicks in my gusset so I can ease the rest of the bag into them. And then we'll be good to base this so that it doesn't move when we do our seam allowance. I'm just going to come down here, put some snips in my gusset all the way along. Oh, here they are. Hello. Did you sleep well? Yes? Thanks for asking. I've had a good day. Maybe we should name them. At 1/4 of an inch. Not to run off the edge, and try not to go down to an 1/8. There. Now, instead of coming off, actually, yeah, come off and I might check. just to make sure I've got everything. There's no puckers because I can alter them before I do the next row. Looks good. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and sew 1/8 of an inch from the stitching line that I just did. Let me know if I run out of bobbin. Now, that's it. All I've got to do now is break my scissors. Thank you. And do the fold over elastic on the bottom bit, and then it'll be done. Well, I've got to attach the handles, but fantastic. Okay. Oh, yes. Oh, I just ran out. I win. And I caught all the edges. Love it. Now I can turn it out. Was she thick? Yes. In love. Look at that. Yes. Mm-hmm. I do like using foam on bags. It gives it such good structure. Okay, so that's the front. And then that's the back panel. Now what straps? Okay, now that I've got the bag done, I've decided that I'm going to use the ColourPop handles. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on these. Move that out of the way. I've got my strap connectors, strap ends here. Just got a magnet here because I always manage to lose the screws. So what you want to do is I just want to slide these on the bottom, just like this. And then on the back, just going to get my sew all. And I just find it easier to use my sew all just to pre-punch the holes before I put them in. So there's one. Okay, so now I've done that, I can come in with the screws. Screw that down. Now what I'm also going to do, I'm going to attach the handles on with my Chicago screws. On and not going anywhere, so I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that for the other edges. Now what I want to do is bring my bag back. I want to come in and measure up how far I want. So you've got to remember that I've got to put a Chicago screw through here. So what I'll do is I think that'll be good. And I'm just going to mark a line just there. Okay, so I know that I want it 3 1/4 inches up, and given that this is the right side, so given that this is the side that you will see, I'm just going to go ahead with my rivet spacing template from Seams Legit. A fabric marking tool. And I want to come in 3 1/4 inches from this edge, because that's where I marked I'm just going to mark that there, 3¼ inches. And I'm just going to put a mark there, and then that way I can be guaranteed to have them in the right spot. With this rivet tool, rivet spacing tool, it has marks in the center. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw that circle there and make sure that I'm in the center and it's got those handy marks on the side. And that is where I know I'm going to punch my holes. So I'm going to get my hole punch, line it up and punch that hole. Come down and do it at this end. There it is. And here I'm going to punch right there. Okay, so I'm out of my medium Chicago screws, but I do have small, and given that this isn't very thick, I think the small will be fine to fit through, because other than that I've only got large then. So I know that that's where I want my first, that's where I want my front screw to be. That's how much will be on the back. So I've just marked down from the back to where it's going to go, which is 1 inch from the end. All right, so it's going to go from this end. I've punched it at 3¼ I'm also going to put a hole at the 1 inch mark, because that is where it's going to come up to. I'm going to punch a hole there. And I'll put it on the bag. It's going to, those 2 holes there will line up, and then that will be our strap. Like that. I'm going to go ahead and mark the 1 inch for all the other sides. So I'm going to go ahead and punch all the holes. Okay, I'm not sure if my Chicago screws are going to go through both layers, so let's try it. Put that through there. So that's through that, and then might do with the screw end. Did it go through? Oh, it did. Fantastic. I wasn't sure if it would or not. Oh, lovely, lovely. And then that's going to be on the underside. So we're just going to go ahead and do the rest, or the other one. I'm glad that these small ones worked, because I'm out of the medium size, so I'll have to order some more. Line them up. And I can feel it click. It's going to give you plenty of room when it's on your arm. Oh, look at I'm sorry, that is just too cute. And then that's it. That is completed. Oh, it looks so cute. Look at that. So now I've just got to take some photos and put this on my website for sale if you'd like to purchase it. The inside. No slip pockets. And there we have the How You Doin Sincerely Jen Bowler Bag. All of her patterns are named after friends' references. I can see me making a lot more of these. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what other bag you'd love me to make. All right, thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.
Hey, we can run away. You say you wanna do. You wanna go back, wanna go back. You wanna go back to a place where we can hide. You wanna stay there, wanna stay there. You wanna stay there, we can leave the pain behind. Stay, stay. Stay like a wrecking ball, we can break them all.